England's favorite spy has been the star of many games during his long-standing run at the box office. And, well, most of them have been about as good as a Roger Moore Bond flick. The game's title is a little bit of a misnomer, strangely enough. You would think that the plot follows the new Bond movie of the same name, but it actually has more to do with the events of Casino Royale. So yeah, you'll see events that lead up to the famous poker game and stuff like that. It's almost like this should have been a Casino Royale game, but since it didn't come out in time, they decided to tack on 3 quantum missions at the end and call it a day. This is not a bad thing, since Casino Royale is awesome, but it's still an odd decision. The game doesn't just borrow source material from Casino Royale. It was made from the Call of Duty 4 engine, and it shows. In fact, all the good stuff is somewhat lifted from COD 4. The grand scripted moments in the game definitely have that Call of Duty feel to it. Likewise, the graphics and frame rate are solid, with special attention paid to Daniel Craig's Bond model. Some of the presentation aspects, like the badly compressed cutscenes, could be a lot better. So what keeps this from being a reskin Call of Duty 4? Well, honestly, not a lot. The biggest thing is that a cover system has been added, and it operates like Gears of War. Push a button and you'll cling to cover. It works most of the time, but every now and then it's a little wonky and doesn't recognize when you're right behind an object. Also, you can tell which sections were specifically designed with the cover system in mind, as those sections kind of restrict normal first-person gameplay. In other words, it's a mix that could have been handled a bit more gracefully. Now don't get me wrong, this is not a bad game, it's just not a particularly compelling one during its short 6 hours. There are new mediocre hacking parts, and bits where you balance on poles, and there are a lot of exploding barrels that have no business being everywhere. Also, the AI can be a little dumb sometimes, but the environments do a good job of keeping the action as fun as possible. This phrase is often overused, but yeah, I can't help myself. The game's good, but not great. Most people who play Quantum will probably find its legs in its multiplayer. There are a number of Bond-themed modes, such as the one that has the evil organization going up against a single Bond character, a Golden Gun mode, and a Bond vs. Bond deathmatch mode. Like the rest of the game, the multiplayer is fun, but not super standout. There's a cash system for unlocks, but nothing as deep as COD 4, which means no perks or leveling. It's like someone took COD 4, took out a bit of the speed and intensity of the gunplay, and added several mechanics that do nothing but hurt the game overall, and then threw in James Bond and the requisite bad guys. The cover system does add a little spice to the mix, but this is probably not the definitive successor to GoldenEye that some people are waiting for. It is, however, better than Roger Moore having a laser battle in space. For the full written review, log on to IGN.com.